Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Denver, Colorado, it's time for Denver Business Radio. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to Denver Business Radio. This is Lee Cantor, and this is going to be a great show. Today on the show, we have Jason Taylor, and he is with the Science of Success Institute. Welcome, Jason.
Good morning, Lee. Great to be here.
Well, I'm excited to learn about what you're up to. The Science of Success Institute, who are you serving in, and what do you guys do?
Yeah, at the Science of Success Institute, we serve small and mid-sized businesses. So we are really helping people who had a dream, started it. It's maybe not going exactly how they pictured it. The economy's changed. It's a whole different world, and they need a little bit of help and guidance getting to the next level.
Now, what's your background? What makes you the right person to be Sherpaing these folks?
Sure. So I've been involved in sports since I was 4 years old, started in baseball. I've been a leader in that role all the way through college and independent leagues, and then coaching for 20 years post-college. And what I've noticed is the things that I teach and develop in these young athletes transferred really well into business. So I built and sold 3 businesses, and most recently built a commercial loan brokerage company, and have since moved on to consulting through the Science of Success Institute.
So now when you were working with athletes, what kind of similarities were you seeing that business people, was it a mindset? Was it kind of wanting to be better, always improving? Like what were kind of some of the similarities, and where could your coaching kind of help transport these people to the next level?
It's very much a mindset. And when we're on the field, we're talking about it's 95% mental and 5% physical. And it really is the same in the business world. So as long as you get your mind in the right place, work from the end goal in mind, which on the field is usually winning a championship, but in business, it's maybe the sale of your company or providing a legacy for your family.
So now, what does an engagement with the Science of Success Institute look like? Is that something I join, I'm a member of, or is this coaching?
Yeah, you can do one-on-one coaching. You can do consultative services, or you can subscribe to our mentoring or mastermind subscriptions, where you pay a monthly fee and you engage with coaches like myself at the Science of Success Institute on a weekly, daily basis via email, weekly basis via virtual calls or phone calls, and text messages when you're right in the middle of a challenge and you need a different perspective.
Now, you mentioned recently you were in kind of, I guess, commercial loans or mortgage business.
Yes.
So now is financing, can you help a business with financing? Because this is a tricky time for financing, I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely we can. And we're actually working with a company called Lenco right now, who's going to be a automated online brokerage system that's going to make it real easy for this business owners. But what we do is we can come in there and we can take a look at your financials and where you're going and what capital needs you have. And then we can help you structure your loan package in a way that'll get approved or has a much better chance of being approved.
And then what are kind of some of the minimum requirements a business owner would have to have in order to make that happen?
Well, there's all different levels of financing. So when I was with Aspen Commercial Lending, I was the chief operating officer, and what we put into place were systems that would detect and define your capital need, but then also place you with the capital source that lends in that space. So if you're a brand new startup looking for startup capital to really start moving, it's probably going to involve some personal credit and some lines of credit and business lines of credit in combination to fund that capital source. Sometimes it involves equity. And then as you get further along and you have assets and receivables and cash flows, we can lend on those as well as real estate and other assets.
So no matter what situation a person's in, it's worth having a conversation with you or somebody on your team, right?
Absolutely. And we can, if nothing else, have a great conversation, feel better about it, and move them in the direction they need to go.
Now, you mentioned the word masterminds. Can you explain what that is and how that works?
Sure. People do this all the time. Henry Ford and Harvey Firestone were in a mastermind together where they talked about different ways to improve their businesses. And it's much the same here. So we'll collect business owners from different areas. So maybe one is a restaurant right now, which are really struggling. And another is a liquor store, which is absolutely crushing it right now. And we combine those guys in a mastermind and they say, hey, this is working. This is not working. What are your suggestions? And you'd be amazed at the incredible ideas and systems and critical paths that come from those masterminds.
So the key, though, is to have non-competitive folks in the room so you're not sharing kind of your secrets?
We actually don't believe that the competition is a problem. In fact, we encourage it. I've always done that through sports, and I feel like your greatest competitor is the one who's making you better and giving you the most value. So we actually encourage those guys to come in there and work together on ways to advantage and leverage their areas. So we have had competitors who couldn't work together, and we moved them to different groups. But most of the time, it actually, if you can get in there and realize that your greatest competitor is making you better, it actually works to your advantage in most cases.
Now, when you're working with your clients in these groups, whether it's one-on-one or in these group sessions, how quickly is it reasonable to see some kind of measures of success?
You will absolutely see measures of success in the first 30 days. Over 90 days, it's unbelievable the amount of change you will see. A lot of the tweaks in business, the difference between success and perceived failure is just a slight variation in your trajectory. So it can be a little tiny thing makes a big difference.
Now, can you share a story? Please don't name any names, but just somebody that started working with you and then how you helped them get to the next level?
Yeah, absolutely. I will do my best not to name any names. I had a gentleman come to us when I was working at my previous brokerage, and he had been trying to obtain financing for 2 years to purchase the real estate that he was in, that he was leasing from the owner. And the owner wanted to sell it. He promised to sell it to him and to his company. And long story short, over 2 years, they were both frustrated with the process. He came to us. We took a look at everything. We helped him restructure his cash flows, his financial ask. And when we did that, we were easily able to identify ways to get him the capital he needed to grow. And that was right in the middle of this pandemic. So it doesn't really matter when or what the current environment is. If you change your perspective on what the challenge is, you can go around it, you can go over it, and you can get what it is you're looking for.
Now, do you have any advice for that small business person out there that is frustrated, that is kind of thinking like, hey, where's their hope in this? It seems like this thing's never going to end. My business isn't what it was, 9 months ago, 10 months ago. How am I going to get through this? What are some kind of maybe baby steps a business owner can take to kind of reassess and get remotivated?
Yeah, this is actually a great time to step back and take a different perspective on your business. So in the restaurant industry, where they're really getting challenged is in the traditional sense of the people coming in and dining, and they're having to think of new revenue sources, new ways to bring in income, new ways to generate income. And this can be invaluable to your business going forward. So if you take the time right now while you're slow, I know it's challenging, but if you can look at it from a different perspective, if you're okay with this, Lee, I'll share with you a great example of a mall in St. Louis and what they did, and the idea they came up with to get through these times.
Yeah, go for it.
So a company came to us and they were looking for financing to develop some additional real estate assets on their ground. And then this whole pandemic hit. So they were getting ready to close with the bank and this pandemic hit and they had to step back. So we never did close that loan, but in keeping in touch with those guys, they were running a mall, a traditional mall in St. Louis, and they suddenly couldn't have people in the building, but they had a huge parking lots and lots of restaurants and different vendors in the mall that were going to be totally out of business or not doing any business because of the pandemic. And what they did was the actual owners of the mall paid for and put up outdoor screens and started showing rock concerts that had been recorded and all kinds of different genres of concerts and kids movies and all these different things on the outside of the building. And they would section off these parking lots so that everybody would stay in their car. And then the vendors from inside the building were actually now serving. So you could order Cinnabon, you could order Red Robin, you can order Cheesecake Factory. All of their restaurants were serving the people who were coming there and gathering in the parking lots in the safety of their vehicles to generate revenue and to enjoy a good time with their family, even during this time. And it was actually hugely successful and something that we had never seen before.
And that's just a way to look at your assets maybe in a different way than you've seen them before.
100%. It's just about changing your perspective.
So now, are you seeing any trends for 2021 as people look ahead to next year? Or is there anything they should be having on their radar of things to maybe lean into?
Absolutely. And if it was one thing, I would say it was multiple sources of income, multiple sources of revenue. So when you started your restaurant business, and I keep using that because that's probably the industry most affected by this, you started it with the traditional sense. How do I get people into my dining room? How do I serve them? How do I keep them happy? How do I get them referring other customers to me and keep that dining room full? And that dynamic has completely changed to what are some additional sources of revenue that I can do? People still want my food. They still want to enjoy the great cooking and service that I have. How can I do that in a way and change my online presence and market domination in a different way that gets me business and additional cash flows that when we go back to a normal dining room situation, these sources of revenue continue and allow you to really expand and explode your business in a whole different way, even in a normal time or if there is a normal time in terms of dining in the restaurant again.
And that's the thing. A lot of these pivots you might be making now might be able to still serve you when this thing's over.
Yeah, and they absolutely will. I mean, look at all the advances in technology and artificial intelligence, all those things that are just really expanding and improving processes that make additional sources of revenue a lot easier to obtain and quicker.
So now, Jason, if there's somebody out there that wants to get a hold of you or somebody on your team, is there a place to learn more? Is there a website?
Yeah, you can go to the scienceofsuccessinstitute.com. And I know that's a huge name, guys, but that is the full thing spelled out, the scienceofsuccessinstitute.com. And there's all kinds of resources and information on there. We also have a YouTube channel and a Facebook channel that we're constantly posting and updating, and you get little nuggets of gold from all of those. And you can always reach out to us and through the contact us page on that site, and somebody will get back to you quickly and be happy to talk to you about your current situation. And if there is a service that we provide, we'd be happy to provide it for you. And if there's not, we'll be happy to point you in the right direction to somebody we know who can. We've been in business in the metro area for more than 20 years and 4 different businesses I've run. And I am super connected, and all of those who work with us are super connected and super passionate about helping others succeed in their business.
Well, congratulations on all this success. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Well, thanks, Lee. I really appreciate you having me here today, and I hope that whoever's listening got at least one nugget of gold that they can use in their business.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for sharing your story.
Thanks, Lee, and have a great day.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We will see you all next time on Denver Business Radio.